right, all right. Are we rolling? Sorry for the little bit of a delay there. All right. So make sure we're going live and got everybody out there in the audience. We're ready to rock and roll. Got this show on the road as we're going to be answering today's question. This question numero 3. All right, of today's question and answer session. All right, and today's question is, it literally is talking about and regarding your ability to get your money, to be able to get your money out here in Mexico. And so this is a very important question because everybody, asks about this, and there are many different situations. All right, so today's question was brought to us by Ted. I know the first 2 questions were anonymous, all right, but today is Ted. Shout out to Ted out there. So thank you very much for making this video possible. All right, to give him a little DJ. All right. Thank you very much. Rolling, rawhide. Man, I'm not gonna lie. After singing that song, I want to watch the Blues Brothers again. The original Blues Brothers. That's what I always think of. For whatever reason. Rawhide. You remember that scene, right? All right. Let's stay on topic. All right. So in today's question, basically it's asking, will my bank, work in Mexico? Will I be able to use it? Will I be able to, function out here in Mexico? Because I'm in a different country, and this is, it's a real thing. You got to remember, it's my American bank, American whatever. Yeah, that's like a main question, a lot of people have. And, the short answer is yes, of course it works. It definitely works. For anyone that knows how the system works, again, check out my other older videos on my other channel, more about that. But anyways, long story short, all banks, especially these days, are interconnected, okay? And, one can argue, about, how connected they are. But long story short, they're connected. All right, let's just stick to layman terms here, okay? All banks are connected, just like you and me are connected right now, through the internet, okay? So there's many ways, in which banks are connected using this brand new technology. Yes, it's brand new. I know the internet's been around, for a while, but long story short, all banks are connected. So because of this interconnectability and other factors, for example, a lot of the banks that you use in the USA, are also out here, all right, with some sort of subsidy or entity or what have you, not subsidy, their version. So for example, there are banks that are international banks. So, just like you might have HSBC, in Europe, in the USA, you're going to have them here. Okay, so HSBC is a world bank. It's a central bank. It's an international bank in a sense. So HSBC is a great bank, okay, that you can use. Also, hey, you might have Citibank in the USA. Well, guess what? They got Citi out here too. It's a Citi Banamex or whatever, and I can go on and on. They have a lot of banks that are, basically their version out here, the U.S. version, but out here. And then other banks that are, let's say Banco Santander, that's another major bank, but they're based out of Spain. And, there are other banks, they're just depending on what part of Mexico and all this other stuff. So long story short, a lot of times, you'll be pleasantly surprised that when you come to Mexico, you're going to find that, your bank is already represented out here, and, it's not really going to be that big of a deal, for you to just go and, use that same bank or not. So for example, let's just say you have a Wells Fargo account, and there's no Wells Fargo anywhere in Mexico. It doesn't matter. You probably just go to like HSBC or the Citi Banamex or whatever has the best rates, okay? That's basically what you're doing. You're looking for the best rates. But, obviously you're going to have a better situation. It's going to be an easier transaction. The more international the bank is, or the closer it is to your banking, whatever. So that's just schematics, all right? The reality is that how it works. Okay, this is how it works, okay? Before you come to Mexico, okay, you got to make sure you do this, okay? This is how you know, or not how you know, this is how you can guarantee that your cards are going to work out here, no problem, okay? So before you come to Mexico, all right, you get on your phone, all right, and you call your bank, all right, go beep, boop, 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 beep, boop, 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 all right, and you say, hey, bank, I'm going to Mexico to vacation. to whatever. It doesn't matter. You know, I don't know how cozy you are with your bank and how much you tell your bank and how well you are, you know, communicating with your bank. But long story short, you got to let them know, I'm going to Mexico and I'm going to be in Mexico for an X amount of time. All right. And so I need my bank card to work in Mexico. That's it. Depending on the bank, depending on your relationship, depending on how much money you got or whatever, depending on how they facilitate this or not. So the more money you got, the more influence you got, you know, the easier. You basically might not even have to call, all right? But it's a lot easier for you to take care of this. The less money you got, the more poor you are, the more difficult they make it. To the point where they're like, oh, you're going to be in Mexico? Well, guess what? You got to call the bank every week, every month, whatever they determine, and let us know again. Keep letting us know that you're in Mexico. And honestly, you know, some banks are even going to tell you, hey, you know, you can't be using, you know, your bank in Mexico, whatever. So again, but this is like the poorer you are, okay? That's the more difficult they make it, okay? But again, that's what we're talking about, other options, how to get your money, how does it work, you know, all this stuff, okay? So if you are just going to be relying on your Wells Fargo bank account and you're just a regular Joe Schmo and you don't got much money coming in and out of there, they're probably going to be making it difficult for you to use your bank card out here on a regular basis, okay? So, you know, they might ask you, hey, you got to call every week, every month, every whatever to keep, you know, keep renewing, you know, your permission to use your card and get your money, your own money out here in Mexico. So what a lot of people end up doing, you know, like if you're just traveling out here, you're just here for a little while, you'll call your bank, you'll deal with that, whatever. You go to the ATM, get some money out, deal with it like that, okay? But you know, for people that are going to be out here for a long time, you know, probably move out here, you probably need a more permanent solution. And that's what, you know, what we're going to be talking about as well. So right off the bat, you know what I mean? Let's just go into the most basic solution. So again, you're coming out here, maybe as a tourist, you're coming out here, you know, just, you know, like moving out here, but you don't have many resources and all this other stuff. You know, again, you're going to call your bank, let your bank know, hey, I'm coming to Mexico. I need you to, you know, be okay with that. You know what I mean? Hey, you know, I'm going to be in Mexico. So if you see transactions coming from Mexico, it's me. Don't stop the transaction. You know, don't be protecting me for my own good. It's me. I'm going to be in Mexico. All right. So once you're in Mexico, you're going to get your bank card. Okay. And you're going to go to an ATM. All right. Now, again, you're going to shop around, ask around in some of the expat groups, whatever, and find out what gives you the best rates. Okay. But anyways, you get your ATM card, you pop it into the ATM at the bank. All right. Make sure, you know, try to do this at the bank. Don't be doing this in some, you know, shady ATM in the middle of nowhere. You know, it's, you know, you never know. All right. So just, you know, try to go to a bank. All right. Use the ATM there. And then as soon as you put your ATM, you know, card in there, it's going to talk to you in Spanish. I think it has English option. Anyways, you go through all the prompts. It's going to ask you a lot of questions. Okay. As you know, ATMs do. Hey, is it okay if we charge you an ATM fee? Yes, charge the ATM fee. Hey, do you want to donate X amount of money to the kids that are blind in South Africa? No, I don't want to donate to those kids. You know, things like that. But one of the most important questions they're going to ask you is, do you want the bank exchange rate or do you want to use the official exchange rate? And they might trick you into the question. They might say, hey, this is the bank exchange rate. Is this okay? And so you say no. Or you say, do you want to use the bank exchange rate? No. Never use the bank exchange rate. Always go with the official exchange rate. Why? Because the official exchange rate is whatever, when you go on Google and, hey, what's the exchange rate? That's the official exchange rate, okay? That's what they're going to give you. But if you say the bank exchange rate, they're going to give you whatever the hell they want. So let's say it's 20 to 1. Well, they can give you 15 to 1. That means that they, you know, out of every dollar, they're putting, you know, 5 pesos, you know, which is 25 cents in their pocket, or a quarter of it in their pocket. Okay? So it's a lot of money. It adds up very quickly, all right? So that's why you always go with the official exchange rate. So this is the best option. Again, you're coming out here to visit, tourist, you know, you're going to be here for a few months maybe, or you just got here, you're trying to get your feet wet, whatever. That's the best option, okay? Another option you can use, okay, let's say once you're out here for a little longer, okay. Oh, by the way, so another option again that you can do is then bring cash, bring US dollars or what Canadian dollars or whatever, and exchange these things at the bank or at exchange homes, exchange places, throughout the city, whatever. Again, there's more like for tourists and people like that are, in need to exchange, currency, on a regular basis like that. Because, again, you're here on a tourist, you're only going to be exchanging a small amount at a time. Yada, 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 everybody travels differently. But long story short, you can bring US dollars and exchange them at these places. But again, it's going to be basically the same. But if I were you, I would always bring cash because you never know with the cards, man. I'm telling you, I've seen it happen multiple times. That Joe Schmo or Joe, I was about to say Joe Peach. Anyways.
Bruh.
Or Jane Schmo, whatever. Anyway, come out here and they call their bank and they tell their bank they're going to be in Mexico and the whole spiel. And once they come out here, they're going to their first, ATM and that's it. You know what I mean? Like they basically, are frozen out of their account and they're calling their bank and they can't get a hold of their bank and they have no money and they got no, and they're freaking out and they got no whatever. Or the machine might eat your card. I don't know. Anything can happen. So bring cash. Always have some sort of access to cash, okay? So bring cash just in case, okay? And then that cash can be exchanged and what have you. Obviously, as time goes forward, the dollar is valued less and less out here, so, they want pesos. But again, you can exchange these in multiple places, whether it's at the border, at the airport, whatever, all right? Any kind of touristy place, all right? You're going to be able to exchange it, no problem. Worst case scenario, the bank, all right? Worst case scenario, some people will take dollars, but they're going to they're going to give you a crappy exchange rate. Let's say you're in a taxi and you got nothing but dollars. Yeah, that guy's not going to give you the official exchange rate, okay? That guy's going to give you like 15 to 1, and you'll be lucky that he's accepting those dollars, all right? Because then he has to go out of his way to exchange them, and I can go on and on, all right? So that's the deal there, all right? When it comes to that, if you're coming out here on a tourist, you're coming out here, just to get, you're still getting your feet wet, you're brand new out here, bring cash, have cash, okay? And then try to exchange that for pesos as soon as you can. And at the same time, again, make sure you do your due diligence with your bank, to make sure you don't got any hiccups when you get here, because there could be hiccups. Now, what's another option you can use once you're out here, okay? And you're out here for a while, or again, even as a tourist, you can use this as well. To get cash, to get access to the money in your bank account or what have you. Well, you have other options. The other options are things like using MoneyGram, Western Union, and there's a bunch of others, especially these days, many other ways or companies like that in which you can send money to yourself, okay? Or have somebody send money to you. Wise is also a very good company. By the way, shout out to Teresa with another $2 out there. Shout out to you. Thank you very much. Very appropriate since we're talking about money here. But anywho's, so with that being said, with the, that's another way you can send yourself money. So, okay, for example, you can send yourself money for cash pickup. So, again, whatever you're using, you can use it to wire yourself money. And then you pick it up at Walmart, you pick it up at Banco Azteca or Electra. Okay, here, I'll type it out because, okay, so Electra has, okay, spelled like that, Electra. Okay, so Electra, has, tellers that, deal with this, okay? In the Electra, they also have Banco Azteca, okay? And that's the bank that's going to do the transactions. But outside of that, there are also just simple Banco Azteca, banks. And so basically Electra or Banco Azteca, they're basically the same. There's just more Electras out there than Bancos Aztecas, I think. I don't know, whatever. Anyways, long story short, either or, you can go pick up your money there. You can go pick up your money at Walmart. You can pick up your money at multiple places, okay? Depending on the service that you're going to be using, okay? So long story short, you wire yourself money. You get that cash. Okay? Because guess what? Once you're out here in Mexico, you quickly realize this is a very cash-only society, and you're going to use cash for everything. Now, again, you can still use your card. So, for example, you can get your U.S. bank card and attach it to Uber. So when you're calling an Uber, Well, guess what? It just gets it straight from your bank card, from your bank account. It does the transaction. And so Uber gives you the official rate, the official whatever, whether it's Uber or Uber Eats or whatever. So you can just use your US bank card to use Uber in Mexico. Okay, or Uber Eats or whatever service like that. That's American US. Now Didi is another rideshare service like Uber, but they're Chinese, so they're not going to accept your US card. They're not going to accept anything like that. So you need to put a bank card that's Mexican. Okay, so when you put in, so once you get temporary residency or permanent residency, you can now get your Mexican bank account. And once you have that Mexican bank account, now you can use that Mexican bank card, okay, or account, for things like Didi, Uber, and so many other things. And it's a lot easier because the thing is that, like, for example, you come out here with your Wells Fargo, your Chase Bank, whatever bank from the US or other country, and you're using it, and it works for some things, but it doesn't work for everything. So it might work at Costco, but it's not going to work at the local Mexican taco shop, or it will. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, it's random. Now, obviously, if you're going to Costco, you're going to Chili's, you're going to Roadhouse Grill, you're going to Walmart, you're going to these places. Yeah, it's probably going to work there, no problem. You know what I mean? But when you go to, like, let's say a Mexican-owned corporation company, it might not work. Or they might charge you fees, or I can go on and on, So I don't know. Depending on the bank, depending on you, depending on so many things, they're going to depend on whether how well it works or not. But long story short, I've said it many times, for you to really function in Mexico and get the best deals humanly possible, it's cash only. Again, you can go to, multiple, department stores, and they'll have two prices, the credit, debit price, and then the lower the lower cash price. So if you pay in cash, whatever it is, it's going to be a lot cheaper. It's going to be more. It's going to be less, it's going to be inexpensive, more inexpensive. But if you pay with a card, even if it's a debit card, okay, which most cards are debit out here, it's still going to cost you more because they got to pay for all the electronic transaction fees, and I can go on and on. So the reality is that, even though you can use your card in many places in Mexico, I would highly recommend that you use cash. And then if you are going to be using your card on a regular basis, because I get it, we're in the future, and, a lot of younger people out there, they want to use your card for everything. Well, then, again, make sure that, if you're going to use your card for everything, get a Mexican bank account. And then get a Mexican, bank card, and then use that for everything, so you don't really have any hiccups. Okay, and so on and so forth, and there's just it's a lot easier for you to use. But yeah, long story short, the thing about Mexico is that Mexico's a cash only society. Now, of course, it's not only cash. Of course, we've talked about it. We're talking about it now. You can use your bank card. People accept a bank card. I can go on and on, but it's a lot easier. Okay, for them to steal your information, steal your, how do I say is commit some sort of electronic, what does it call it, like digital fraud or whatever, with your card than it is with cash. So you might be, let's say you're gonna go pay for gas. Again, they might charge you twice or three times. Okay, as opposed to if you're paying with cash, well, that's it. This is it. What are you gonna do? You can't charge you. Like that. So that's why so many people use cash. You can use cash in Uber and the Didis and so many other things. Again, cash is king out here. People prefer it. In fact, sometimes, like one of these Ubers or Didis, they'll depending on the city and area, they'll get you for a ride, and then they'll message you, hey, is this cash or credit? And if you say credit, they'll say bye. If you say cash, they'll be on their way to pick you up. So again, not always, but it does happen. And so that's what I'm saying. Like at the end of the day, like it or not, it's imperative for you to, start, getting used to using cash. And not just cash, but meaning, don't be walking around with, 1,000 peso bills or 500 peso bills. No, make sure you got change. All right. Make sure you got 20s and 50s and hundreds and a lot of pocket change. You're going to use it. You're going to need it. Okay. So change is king. Cash is king out here. Because again, just think about it. Let's say that, hey, Uber and Didi and all these ride shares are very expensive, and you need to get from point A to point B right now, and you cannot wait for the surge pricing to go down, and you don't want to pay 5 times the price for the same ride. Okay, so all of a sudden you see a taxi driver. Well, you think the taxi driver is going to be accepting, your card? No, they're not. So cash. They say the vendor on the side of the road, selling you tacos or selling you whatever. Are they going to accept your card? Probably not. Probably not. And that could go on and on. Okay. So that's why, again, once you come out to Mexico, you better just get ready to start learning to use cash again, in case you are not used to using cash, because everything runs on cash out here. But again, yes, of course, what I mean? Like, depending on the lifestyle that you have, the higher the lifestyle, well, yeah, the more likely you're going to be okay, using your card for everything. But if you're planning on living a lifestyle like I live on my channel, I live here, like I think you want to live, well then yeah, cash only. You know what I mean? It is what it is. I have my bank card, but look, I'm gonna tell you, I only use my bank card, in certain situations. The other day, yesterday, I had to go to AutoZone to pick up some things for the truck, and yeah, I had cash on me. And I had to go, so I had two things I had to do. I had to go to the bank to get some cash, and I had to go and get some parts at the AutoZone. And so, I was on my bike, because, again, I got the car, right out here. I'm working on it now. So anyway, I went to go get the parts first, like an idiot. And when I was paying for the things, it was like, over 1,000 pesos. And I was like, you know what? I just pay with my card, and I'll just not go to the bank, and I'll just leave a few extra pesos in the bank, and that's it. I mean, I got enough cash on me to deal with whatever. You understand? And so the thing is, it's like most people don't even rely on the banks, because look, a lot of times, late at night, I'm trying to order some food, after, we went out with some friends, or we're ordering some pizza, whatever, and my bank card won't go through, and my friend's bank card won't go through. And it's because the banks are down. And again, this is not things that you're used to maybe in the US or Canada or other parts, but banks go down here all the time. And so you're hungry, you're drunk, and you want your pizza, or you want your Uber to get you home, or whatever it is you want, and your bank's card not working, well, whatever, cash is going to work. The Uber is going to take you for cash. The food delivery guy is going to prefer cash. And basically, you can still put in your Uber order, your Uber food or delivery. Again, you call the place direct. By the way, that's another way to get cheaper food. You know what I mean? Again, don't use Uber Eats. Call the place direct. Again, you got to know Spanish, but if you're able to call direct, then they're delivering it for you, and not only is it going to get there faster, but it's cheaper delivery fee. But anyways, but yeah, long story short, cash, man. Cash is always going to save your day, because the electronics, the banks don't work here all the time. And again, this is another reason why everything is cash only out here, and people use the banks only when needed or necessary, because again, at any moment they can just, stop working, or it might be just for a few hours or a little whatever, but that's enough to become an inconvenience, and people are just not, they don't want to deal with that. You follow me? So then they just say, all right, forget it. What we're going to end up doing is that, we're just going to use cash and not really rely on the banks, because they're unreliable. You follow me? And all that good stuff. So, I think hopefully, that makes a lot more sense. All right. Hey, we're having a little bit of, issues here with the lighting and the internet and stuff like that. So I think we're going to start wrapping this up. Let me know if there's any questions or comments regarding this topic that you guys want me to, maybe touch on, or go a little, further on. By the way, it is crazy hot out there right now, okay? I got the air conditioner on, and it's not enough. It's like over 102 right now, I think. So, very hot. Putting a bit of a workout on the grid here, all right? So, FYI, right? Rebirth says, not correct. I'm in Mexico now for 2 months and have used my US-based Chase card linked to Didi. Oh, there you go. Okay, taking over 50 rides works perfectly. Well, look at that. That's great. I use Didi pretty much every day here in Mexico. My Chase card US is my payment. That's interesting, because I was literally just talking to my friend today that cannot get their US bank card with Didi. I cannot put my US bank card on Didi as well, and Didi is a Chinese company. So that is, thank you for letting me know. Or maybe it depends on the bank. All right? So thank you. I appreciate that, Rebirth. All right. So there you go. But it is pretty random, though. Like I said, you're the first person that I've known that has been able to use it with Didi. But thanks for sharing. I really appreciate that. John says, just in case of theft, we use prepaid like Wise and simply transfer the amount for the day use. There you go. Yeah. So Wise has multiple options. You can get like a prepaid bank card prepaid, card that you can use, whether you want to, use it, use it like a card, or you can just use it at the bank to get the money out, get the cash. Where can I change large notes for smaller ones? At the bank. Simply put, just go to the bank. Al Reggie says, José, yo vivo en Miami, quiero mudarme con mis hijos a Mérida, ¿qué puedes recomendarme? Watch my channel. So he's asking me, hey, he's moving to Miami he's moving to Mérida with his kids. What can I help him? What can I recommend to him? I recommend he watch this channel. It has tons of free information. So you can, do that. All right, hold on.
Bruh.
Mira mi canal, yo tengo mucha información ahí de gratis. La mayoría de toda la información que yo tengo en mi canal es gratis. O sea, si tú quieres información de gratis, ahí en mi canal puedes ver. Tienes que, tú sabes, obvio, tienes que trabajar y ver, hacer tu tarea y empezar a buscar los videos y de los temas que te interesa a ti, o simplemente te pones a ver los videos y ahí está toda la información que tú puedes necesitar para mudarte para acá. ¿Ok? So, eso es lo que tienes que hacer. ¿Ok? Si tú quieres información de gratis y lo quieres todo de gratis, ahí está todo está ahí de gratis. ¿Ok? Sin problema ninguno. ¿Ok? Pero si quieres más información y tú quieres que te hable directo, que te ayude directo, ya te va a costar dinero. Pero al fin, si tú necesitas información o ayuda de gratis, yo tengo toda la ayuda y toda la información de gratis que tú quieras. Está en mi website. Te voy a enseñar ahorita. ¿Ok? Ya estoy hablando mexicano, ya se me olvidó el cubano. Pero anyways, aquí en mi website, okay, en mi página de YouTube, okay, ahí está toda la información, okay, todos los videos, mira, videos, okay, en vivos, okay, podcast, ahí está todo, right? Te pone ahí de todo. Right? Te ponte ahí a buscar, y si no, puedes igual ir a mi página de web, okay, y ahí está toda la información. Oh, by the way, I'm just speaking in Spanish just because, a lot of people wonder if I speak Spanish or not. So yeah, that's Cuban Spanish, all right? So just anyone out there. I'm speaking to Al out there, all right? He was asking me a question, so I'm not sure if he speaks English or not. So I was just like, whatever. Let me just speak in Spanish. En el Spanish, ya tú sabes. All right, let me see. Teresa says, you always give me information that I'm surprised that I need. Oh, I'm glad. I'm glad that it's so helpful, Teresa. Thanks for the $2. Okay, John Smith says, trick I use is utilize my credit cards to avoid exchange rate fees and simply pay them to zero before the monthly charge to avoid interest fees. Okay, cool. Thanks, John Smith. I don't know if that would work for everybody, but that's good. New York Native says, well, cash, of course. I have a debit card from the U.S. and it has worked for 3 years. Awesome. So the thing is, look, another thing I want to remind you guys of, remember my story. I came out here with $1,500 to my name. Anyone that has been in a situation where you're very poor in the USA, you don't even get a bank account. They just take you straight off the grid. No bank for you. Okay. So when I came out here, I didn't even have a bank account. So for me, I have a different situation. And then the banks that I did have, made it life impossible for me to do anything. You know what I mean? So what I ended up having to do, which I've said multiple times, is that I would just, use my aunt, my family member, as, my middleman, and she would get my money, and I would just and then she would just send it to me, cash, and that's it. And I would be all right, you know what I mean? So, and that's what we would do, you know what I mean? Like, just my family would help me out in that sense, where, I would send her all the money, and then she would send it to me in cash because I didn't even have a bank account. There was like really no way for me to do anything. So, that's remember, my perspective is a little different, and that's why, for me, it's like whatever. But I am glad to hear that most of you guys are having very good experiences being able to use your U.S. bank cards out here in Mexico. So, Boots says the Charles Schwab card at Citibank and Max has a really good exchange rate, 17.85. Okay, cool. And you can get up to 7,000 pesos. Cool. Yeah. So, every bank, every situation is a little different. But yeah, long story short, at the end of the day, you have multiple options, when it comes to this, all right? You have multiple options on how you can get your cash, your money out here in Mexico. But, again, just to go back full circle, to the question, will my bank cards work in Mexico? Yes. Will you have to do a little due diligence? Yes, most likely call your bank, let your bank know you're going to be in Mexico, you're going to be using it in Mexico, and then always have a safety, backup plan, meaning have cash. Just have cash, because you never know. Look, your cards might work. Some of you guys are telling me they were, 3 years and counting, and your cards always work. But guess what? Sometimes I'm sure you've gone to the business and they don't even have a debit or credit card terminal, or it might not even be working, and so you got to pay with cash anyway. So always have cash. Sometimes it's not even about whether your bank is working or not. It's like whether their end is working or not. So that's also the reality. All right. Okay, let me see. Questions. Like, I'm coming from Australia. It scares me that an ATM might eat my card. Mexico's a long way from here. Yeah, okay, so a lot of people have had that happen to them. And believe it or not, this is why they end up getting a Mexican bank account. Because whenever, let's say that, let's say a bank eats your card, well, that means that somebody, okay, now you got to get a new bank card shipped to somebody in your home address. You know what I mean? Like, for example, you're in Australia, so somebody most likely has to, your bank has to ship it to somebody in Australia, a family or friend, or you, whatever. Anyways, somebody has to receive it, and then they got to ship that to you. So again, your bank has to ship it to an address in Australia. Then from there, somebody has to ship it from Australia all the way out here. So I got friends of mine this has happened to them in the US, and it takes weeks, for, again, the bank to send you the new card. And then once they get the new card, then somebody has to ship it to Mexico. All right. So yeah, it's a pain in the butt. All right. That's why, I encourage as many of you as possible that can get a Mexican bank account to get a Mexican bank account. But even if you lose your card, though, again, even if you lose your card, you're still can wire yourself money, because when you're wiring yourself money, what you're doing is that you're sending it from your bank account to yourself. So all you need is your passport. So let's say, again, Ra right now is Raj. Anyways, Raj. Let's say Raj right now is all the way, again, he's in Mexico, and he lost his bank card. Forget that he got eaten by a machine, but let's just say he just lost his bank card. It happens, you know what I mean? All of a sudden, it's like, oh my God, I'm panicking. How am I going to get money? You don't got to worry. Again, as long as you have access to your bank, which you do, all you got to do is just, again, link up with one of these, money sending services, that I've talked about already, or you can do your research. Again, every country has a different whatever. But long story short, you can just wire yourself money. That's it. Very easy. And then basically you're paying, you just pay from your bank account, you know what I mean? And then that's it. You just wire yourself money, and then you pick it up with cash. Again, all you need is your passport, and that's it. You just show up and you get your cash, and you're good. Lisa says, I just found your channel. I am super excited about the possibility of moving to Mexico. Are insects in the home a problem in apartment? That's a great question. I'm glad you asked that. In fact, I think we're going to start wrapping this up, because I think we've basically talked about everything here. So let me know again in the chat. Let me see. Let me know if there's any other issues you want me to talk about here. But okay, let's wrap it up while I answer Lisa. So Lisa, okay. Long story short, depending on the part of Mexico you're in, depending on whether you're going to have bugs or not, okay? If you're in this part of Mexico, yeah, you're probably going to have bugs. And in fact, I made a whole episode. I talked about it. In fact, where is it? It's here somewhere. Not too long ago. Where is it? There it is. Ta-da! All right, there we go. Oh, by the way, welcome aboard, Lisa. So shout out to you. Welcome aboard, all right? So, hold on, where we got the... there it is. Shout out to Lisa. And shout out to everyone out there. Shout out to all the new subscribers, and everyone that hasn't subscribed yet. Shout out to you, and hopefully that shout out is enough to get you to subscribe, all right? And if not, whatever, man, I don't know. Bruh. Anyways, look, the point is that shout out to all the new subscribers, all the new viewers, everyone out there in the audience. Every single Thursday we do these where I answer 3 questions. Again, if you want to know how you can get me to answer your question, follow the link in the chat, follow the link in the description, follow the link in the comment section of this video, and to prompt you to my It'll prompt you to my website. Again, you can go to my website and click here, personalize whatever, or click on the link that I provide. And regardless, it's going to take you straight over here. It's going to have me explain to you how this works and answer your questions, whether it's about insects or whether it's about cash or whatever it is, okay? And how it works is like, by the way, so about your insect question, again, you can just come out here to my website or go to my YouTube page and you can, find the video there where I already talked about it. At least pertaining to this area of Mexico. All right, so we talk about mosquito-borne illnesses and insects and bugs in the Yucatan. All right, I don't know about the other parts of Mexico, but if you want me to research other parts of Mexico, you want me to answer your question, okay, in this format. Okay, all you got to do is just click on that link, go to my website, and it's going to prompt you to a video where it's going to be me telling you how it works, or you can simply read this and it's going to tell you exactly how it works, where all you got to do is send me an email with your question. We come to an agreement on how much it's going to cost, for me to answer this question, and then I tell you when I'm going to answer this question, and then I answer it live like I'm answering this question and every other question I've answered, and that's it. And we can go from there. So if you want to get your question answered, you want to do a little research, and you want to help not just me with a donation, but you want to help everyone else out in the audience that probably has the same exact question for, and once it answered, well, this is a way that you can help your, everyone else out there, and we'll help each other. Okay, well, you get your question answered, you help me, and I get to feed my horse, and we get to have a question and a video, okay, for everyone out there in the audience. They can also benefit from the knowledge, okay? But anyways, I hope that let me see. I think that wraps it up. Let me see if we got any more questions. Okay, I think that's it. So anyways, guys, all right. So you already know the deal, guys. Thanks by the way, I also do one-on-one consultation. So if you want to have a one-on-one consultation where you get to ask me anything, talk about anything, and you want me to help you with anything, again, just check out the website and reach out to me, and we can set that up, okay? But anyways, all right, guys, you already know the deal. If you like this kind of content, don't forget to please like, please subscribe, please share, please hit the bell icon, but more importantly than anything else, please stay awesome. Again, shout out to everyone out there. It was another fun Thursday where we got to answer 3 really cool questions. Again, shout out to Anonymous, and Ted. Shout out to Ted. Anyways, Ted is the one that asked me this question, and Anonymous were the ones that asked me the other 2 questions. And again, if you want to go back and check out those questions and check out those videos, you go to my website or go to my webpage on YouTube, and you can find it there, okay? You can find out all the questions, that we've answered in the past, and the ones that we're going to be answering in the future, because as I set the questions up for the week, I put them here so that in case you guys are interested in the topic, you guys can hang out with me live. Another thing that you can do is hit the bell icon so that you get notified anytime I go live or anytime I drop a video. Or again, like I said, just stay tuned every Thursday and every Sunday. Every Sunday I drop a video. Okay, every Sunday I just do a regular video. All right, we drop it, and you guys get to watch the video. And then every Thursday we do these live streams. Now, some Thursdays, one Thursday out of the month, we don't do these questions, and then we just do a long live stream where I'm here for like 2 hours or more, and I'm answering all of your questions. Now, I might not go into extreme detail in those questions, because we're trying to answer as many questions as possible, and it's a lot of you guys show up, and we talk about a lot of things, what I mean? So I'm trying to get to as many questions as possible. I'm trying to answer every question the audience might have that day. So with that being said, stay tuned for those. Now, those I don't keep on YouTube. I got to take off YouTube. I've already had issues with YouTube. In fact, the video that we just did talking about Montezuma's revenge or what have you, yeah, that got demonetized. So I got in trouble for that. I guess I was talking about, too many things, when it comes to health for whatever reason that they did not like. So I'm not trying to bring them up here, okay, to get this one demonetized now too. So that's why when we do this question and answer sessions, and I'm here 2 hours plus answering all of your questions, I can't keep those on YouTube anymore because I already got in trouble for keeping them on there. So in order for you to get and watch those, you got to go to my website, okay? And on my website right here where it says podcast, You see it right there, okay? So you're gonna see all these are not on YouTube. These have all been scrubbed off YouTube, unfortunately, all right? But you can watch them here, and it's like all of these question and answers, okay? And it's in video format. If you want in video format, then you click on here on the Spotify, okay? And Spotify will open up, and just like Joe Rogan, that's right. I got a multi-year deal with Spotify just like Joe Rogan. That's right. I said it. I don't. I'm just talking crap. Anyways, long story short, check me out on Spotify because you already know. YouTube is amazing. I love YouTube. It's great. But unfortunately, you can't speak about everything here. And it's okay. Internet is a huge, giant, wonderful place where, I can just put my content elsewhere, whether it's on my own website, okay, or on Spotify, or what have you, okay? But long story short, I think we're good here. I think we've already answered all your questions, and I think we're ready to go to wrap this up. I think this is This is the last question and answer session of the month. So next week, okay, we got more questions, and we're gonna start a whole new month and all that good stuff. And thank you so much. By the way, shout out to all the new viewers, all the new subscribers, every single one of you guys. All the old subscribers, every one of you guys. I mean, it's for reals. We have seen a lot of monster growth in the last few weeks. Obviously, there's, a lot of things involved here. The channel was already growing, massively. But then, I linked up with Jordan from Tangerine Travels. We did an awesome interview. And then, obviously, it just added some jet fuel to the channel. And, I've been dropping some videos lately that you guys have been enjoying very much. And, it just, you already know, the snowball keeps growing. And it just keeps snowballing. And, we're just out here doing our thing. So, in fact, even with these videos, I remember just a few months ago when I first started doing these question and answer sessions, I didn't have that many people show up to these things. And now we got a pretty big audience, just talking about these simple, questions or these simple topics or whatever. And I know they're not necessarily simple, but they are. But even though they're simple questions, they're very needed answers out there, that I'm trying to provide, and I'm trying to help out. And again, I don't always have all the answers. That's why I always, encourage, interaction from you guys in the audience and for all of us to help each other out. Okay, because that's really the way to do it. That's how it's done. We all got to figure out what works best. Everyone is in a different situation, and all of us have a lot of knowledge, especially if we've been living out here, that we can share with others that have not moved out here yet and, need that little help. We all do, So for me, it was easier when I first moved out here because I knew Spanish. So I was able to make friends very quickly, and I was able to get that little help from the locals because I spoke Spanish. But for a lot of you guys out there, you only speak English, and this is the only way, is that we got to help each other out. And that's what we're doing it. So, that's it. I think we're done with all that. All right. So, I see Harry out there, man. Damn. I apologize, Harry. I didn't even. Oh, sorry. See? Sorry. There it is. Shout out to Harry with the $4. Thank you very much. Shout out to you, Harry. Harry Biner, thank you very much, man. Thank you, Harry. Thank you, Joe Schmo, Joe Peach, and Joe Schmo. Thank you, everybody out there. Love you guys. You guys are the best. Again, thank you for the $4. Thank you for the $10. Thank you for the $2. Thank you, Teresa. Thank you, everybody out there. I love you guys to death. You already know what's up. I'm going to see you guys here on Sunday, all right, when I'm going to drop my next video. And I'll see you guys on, here next Thursday, where we got 3 more questions. And if you want your question to be answered, again, reach out to me. Try to, not wait to the last minute, because if you're waiting till the last minute, it's probably going to be for the following week. But again, the quicker you send me your questions, the sooner we can answer them. All right. So, all right, guys, that's it. We're done here. You already know the deal. If you like this kind of content, don't forget to please like, please subscribe, please share, please hit the bell icon. But more importantly than anything else, please stay awesome. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next